Hi, I'm Vivian, owner of Sew You Sewing and Design Studio, and welcome to our Fashion Redesign series. Today we're going to be making a pair of kids' pants out of an adult pair of jeans. Over here I have all of my necessary tools in order to do this project. We have dressmaker shears, we have embroidery scissors, a bowl of 1-inch quilting pins, a pin cushion, a seam gauge, and a roll of 1-inch non-roll elastic. Okay, now we're going to start actually making the pair of pants. The items that we're going to need now are an adult used pair of jeans, and the pattern that in this case was made from my nephew's favorite pair of pants. We have the back piece that I already have laid on the jeans, and we have the front piece. If you don't know how to make patterns, you can find exactly how to make patterns on our YouTube fashion redesign video for pattern making. Now, it's important that the jean fabric be laid out perfectly flat. When you lay out the pattern, you want to make sure that the actual paper pattern lays inside the leg of the jeans. In this case, the back pocket is important that I do not lay the pattern on top of it. I don't want any of the pockets showing on these new pair of jeans, so I have to make sure that the pattern does not lay on the back pocket. After I've determined that the pattern lays exactly where I want it, we're going to begin to pin. Okay, so now we're ready to pin. I prefer using a bowl of loose pins, but you might prefer a traditional pin cushion. In either case, what I do recommend using is a long quilting pin. It's about 1 inch in length, and it's very easy to see and does go through a variety of weights of fabric. It's important that when you pin, you place the pins in the corners of your paper pattern, and you place the pins in and out of the same side. What we're going to do is I'm going to pin each of the corners for you to see. Again, making sure that the paper pattern is fitting inside the jeans and does not move, and everything is pinned perfectly still and in place. Okay, now that we have our first side of our new pants laid out, we're going to do the exact same thing with the other leg, making sure that the large adult pants are laid out flat. Again, you're going to be placing the paper pattern exactly where you want it. Turn this and get that out of the way. Once you've determined the place of your paper pattern, you begin pinning the same way that we did before, making sure that the corners are secured. Okay, and now there you go. Okay, now that we've completed pinning, we're going to do the fun part, which is the cutting. We're going to be using dressmaker shears, and if you notice, there's a larger hole at the bottom for your fingers, and there's a smaller hole on top for your thumb. The proper way of holding the scissors is like this. You'll also notice that the scissors are slightly bent, and this is so the entire shear will lay flat on the table while cutting. When cutting, you want to make sure that you're using the entire blade to cut. If you find that your fabric is twisting in the blade, you want to bring the blade evenly, slowly at the edge of the paper. Now, cutting is harder than you might think, okay? Turns, just bring it around, use the scissor, use the blades of the scissor. The seams of the jeans can be a little bit more difficult. However, do not lift. You'll notice my blade is still touching the table. Do not lift the blade, no matter how difficult it is to cut through your fabric. Okay, now that we've cut out our first leg of our new jeans, we're going to get ready and cut our second. Just as a review, use the entire blade of your scissors, cut to the edge of the paper pattern. Take your time. If you're twisting, make sure your blades are perpendicular or flat to the table, and you're good. You'll notice that as I'm taking out the pins, I'm putting them away immediately. One of the important things is to keep your workstation clean. The basic construction of a pair of pants is you take one back piece, one front piece, you put them right sides together, and we have to make sure that the fabric edges are even, okay? We will be sewing the side seam first and then the inseam. And I'll show you exactly what to do. One front, one back. Fabric edges even on your side seam. Now your side seam is your straight edge of fabric. Okay. Again, if you prefer using a pin cushion, that's fine. Now when you pin, the heads of your pin are going to be sticking out this time. Okay, it's a pinning a little bit different than we did while cutting, because in cutting, if you pinned it this way, you actually couldn't cut because you couldn't cut through the pin. Now we're getting ready to sew, so we're pinning this way so that when we sew, removing the pins is easy. Fabric edges even, okay, and we keep pinning. Again, the correct way of pinning is in and out on the same side. And you're going to be pinning about every 3 to 5 inches. The difference in distance has to do with the weight of the fabric. We are working with denim, so the movement of the denim is not that much. If you were working with a silk or satin, you would be pinning probably every 1 to 2 inches because the movement of such fabric is a lot slipperier. Now that we've completed pinning our side seam, we're going to be pinning the inseam of the same leg of the jeans. Fabric edges even, again, right sides together. We pin in and out on the same side every 2 to 5 inches on average. Now it's important that you work with the fabric holding it. Some people have a tendency of working with the fabric flat to the table. However, when you're working with garments or apparel, they're made to fit the human body, which is not flat. So it's far easier to work while holding the garments because, again, you can make the fabric move where you want it to move, and there's no guarantee that the fabric sides are going to be even or squared, much like, let's say, a pillow or a pillowcase that's not made for the human body. Okay, so now we have one leg of our jeans pinned and ready to be sewn.